Well, Rebecca is the youngest daughter in this family. She learned about the shooting while she was at a friend's birthday party Sunday morning, and she is blaming the online conspiracy Qanon that believes a global cult of satanic pedophilic elites is responsible for planning the pandemic and stealing the 2020 election. She says that conspiracy radicalized her father, driving him to kill.
There was a local QAnon man who murdered his family. I wish, you know what's funny? The video I did just before this was talking about the Little Mermaid stuff, and I was feeling exhausted with that. I said, I wish I had more topics like this. I wish I had more, I said the opposite. I wish I didn't have topics so stupid and so minor in our life. Like we need real substantive talks. And then I hear the dangers of QAnon. A man killed his family because he believed they were part of the deep state, and praying to his MAGA overlord, he found that it would be best to kill his family. I didn't look much into the story, read one article and just disgusted the thought of the violence that is to come because your political daddy brainwashed you that much. Like I don't want to blame MAGA and say it's MAGA's fault because or Trump's fault even, because it's like, well, this man had his own free will. He did that and decided to take that action. He hurt people, like it's not like Donald Trump gave him the gun. So I'm not even trying to blame Donald Trump, surprisingly, as being a lefty who can't stand the fucking guy. I'm trying to be sympathetic, and I think understanding of political radicalness, like I think political radicalness is just dangerous, right? But I don't like that mentality because I think it shuns away from, like, it just plays this both sides are bad narrative, and I don't agree with that. I just feel like it's a weak counter. I think people should politically be passionate. I mean, what's radical to you is not radical to others, right? Like if a guy goes up to you and says, I'm going to take away the right for you to love the person you love, you would take that with offense. You would take that with hostility. You would take that with violence. So why is that considered a cool radicalness when somebody who believes they're having their rights taken away via like voting or imperialism or capitalism or even socialism, why are they crazy for wanting to combat whatever is making their life miserable or taking their rights away, right? Like I don't want to just radical equals bad, right? I want to have a substantive talk about this, and I genuinely believe it's okay to be radical, but it's also not an excuse to just be vile and evil in general, right? Like it sounds obvious, but is it? I mean, this MAGA guy obviously had something wrong with him. He genuinely believed that his family was part of the deep state, and instead of just saying he's crazy, or instead of just blaming the people that he was influenced by, I want to blame him. But I think also that is weak, and that is stupid to say that this man didn't have some sort of brainwashing that occurred to him. Like I don't want to take that away either. I'm very conflicted. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe the Fox Newses of the world should be held accountable, but to what extent, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I want to say that they are to blame, right? But this man had his own prerogative. Like he was dealing with things that I don't think any news network would have been accounted for, right? But then I'm like, no, they pride on this man. This man's xenophobia, this man's fear, this man's conspiracies. They pride on him. And I mean, and that's not a new thing. We've seen that in media for years. I don't feel the need to go into detail too about the story itself. The man was fucking crazy. And I don't want to dive about the story himself. I want to talk about the ramifications of surrounding him, because I think that tells a story of of a solution of sense, like of who is to blame, if there even is a blame, right? And I think it's okay to say, like, the people who brainwashed those for January 6th can also be accounted for here. So I'm not trying to say being radical is bad. I'm not trying to say stand with your political beliefs is bad. But this man was genuinely crazy, and the Fox Newses of the world are prying on that crazy. This man watched the craziest of the craziest. This man was as radical as they can get, and he was radical with unfound beliefs. I mean, he kept saying he was one of those people who kept denying the election, and kept pushing that the Republicans or the Democrats were just this evil conglomerate of monsters. And not to say they aren't, but it's very typical to just say that and my side's good. I mean, that's what that guy was basically doing, which is obviously ridiculous, obviously, you know, very ludicrous. To then you take that and say I'm going to kill my family. I mean, there's no good story here. It's a pathetic human that ruined a beautiful life, and I'll link more to the story if need be. But I think we can just end it here. So thank you all very much. Love y'all. Love your family.